You had this on Daily Face Off Live, but I kind of want you to explain it to me again because I didn't comprehend it the first time. Max Pacioretty, what's the deal here, and what makes that case so unique?
Okay, so if you go back, Max Pacioretty, we have him on the number 11 spot there, as you can see. And so everyone knows how over 35 contracts work, right? You can sign the player to a league minimum deal and add performance bonuses to that contract so that if the player hits, whatever threshold you set, if he hits 25 games played, he gets X amount of dollars, 50, whatever. You can do it a million different ways. It's up to you to be as creative as you want. So what happens on an over 35 contract like that is that that money doesn't count against your cap that season. You have the option to basically only show on your cap 775,000, which is the league minimum, and then whatever bonuses are attained by that player, you then apply it to next year's cap. So it basically allows teams to punt the ball down the road a little bit and say, well, we're not going to have to worry about that. We can get this guy at exactly league minimum. He can still put money in his pocket, and we can move it to next year when we'll have more flexibility, and hopefully, theoretically, as the way it should work, we have more cap space then. So what happens with Pacioretty and other injured players, this is not something that's talked about all that often, but applies here, is that there's this stipulation in the CBA that you don't have to be over 35 to do the same thing with a player who had a long-term injury and is a free agent. So for Pacioretty and Connor Brown, who's also coming off of a torn ACL, if you've played 400 games in the NHL and you missed 100 days or more last season with a long-term injury, you can do the same thing as an over 35 contract. So for Pacioretty, he's still one of the elite snipers in the league. And it's not even a big if, I don't think, that Achilles has been properly repaired this time, then you can sign him to a league minimum contract and get creative. And I think that's what's really going to drive up the interest in Max Pacioretty.
I can already see Max Pacioretty going to the Tampa Bay Lightning for $750,000 this offseason. But you mentioned Connor Brown. The chat said it, and I've been saying it even before I knew this little factoid about the CBA. He is a no-brainer addition for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think that marriage would make sense from both sides. If you're Connor Brown, go play with Connor McDavid, who you played with in junior, sign the one-year deal, get some bonuses in there, rebuild your value on an absolutely stacked offense and on a team that is pretty weak on the right side of the ice. The Oilers get a guy who has a 20-goal history in the NHL, get him potentially for league minimum next season and deal with the aftermath or deal with the consequences of potential success down the road. That makes so much sense to me.
Yeah, and I think what's exciting about the Connor Brown situation, unlike Pacioretty, not to say Pacioretty's going to command a huge ticket, but Pacioretty was in the $7 million range prior to this, and the way that he scored in Vegas certainly backed up that number. Whatever his bonuses are going to cost you are going to be way more than Connor Brown. So what'll happen is after we're done this show today, I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to send it over to Ken Holland, and we'll see what he says.
Thank you. And then I want commission if Connor Brown scores 20 goals next season as the one who came up with the
We'll
idea.
we'll add that to the Oilers cap too.
Yeah. Frank, thanks for popping by today.
See you, Tyler.
There you go. That's Frank Seravalli for our friends at Star Mechanical. Find them online, starmechanical.ca. If you need some emergency repair,